Hey everybody, it's Lisa Robinson here with Lisa Marie Accounting LLC. And for those of you that don't know me, I am a profitability coach. I'm known as the Sassy Southern Accountant. And what I do is I help women entrepreneurs take the chaos out of their business numbers. And well, basically in a nutshell, I help them make them sassy and sexy. Today with me is my guest, Lindsay Hack. And if you've been following me, you know that I have been focusing on me and my business, but also my health and the fitness. And Lindsay Hack has been a big, huge part of that. She's actually my personal trainer. She kicks my butt 3 days a week. And then other 2 days, she kicks my butt if I don't send her a selfie showing that I did a cardio workout. And trust me, I do get my butt kicked sometimes. So without further ado, one of the women I love like tremendously, Lindsay Hack. Lindsay, will you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your business, please?
Yes, absolutely. Well, thanks first of all having me on the show. I'm super excited. I love what you do, and I love the fact that you make numbers sound sexy and sassy because I really don't like them. So thank you for that. My name's Lindsay Hack, and I'm the owner and CEO of Evolve for You, which is transforming yourself from the inside out through movement, meals, and mindset. And I've been in the fitness industry for over 16 years, and I have taken numerous certifications, diplomas, nutrition background, and fell in love with life coaching in 2012 and realized that the three pillars of movement, mindset, and nutrition was such a huge part of the missing pieces of the puzzle of trying to stay healthy, get healthy, change that lifestyle. And so I created my business a few years back and brought it online 2 years ago. And I've just been continuing to grow and enjoy and being able to reach as many people as I can around the world. In the last 8 years, I've moved 5 times. Had to say goodbye to friends who were clients, had to rebuild every time I moved from city to city, country to country. And so when I finally brought my business online, I decided location meant nothing and I could work with anybody, anywhere in an online space. And it's been an amazing journey along the way.
Yeah, because wasn't there one time you actually were in Mexico when we did one of my trainings, right?
Yeah, I've actually been in the last 18 months. I've been in 4 countries and a bunch of different states across the US. I live in Canada personally, so a bunch of provinces across Canada. I've been in Mexico numerous times. And so it really is amazing because it doesn't matter where I am as a coach or a personal trainer. It doesn't matter where my clients are. They can be anywhere as long as we have an internet connection, which, let's be honest, is like running water these days. We can do it from anywhere, anytime.
Awesome. So I want you, because I know what your why is, because we talked about this when I first started training with you, because I was kind of nervous about coming to you and asking for help. But I want the audience to know what your why is, why you do online interactive, what it is you love about it.
All right. Well, I'm going to take it quickly right back to where my why for my business comes into play. So research actually states that little girls have the most confidence from the age 9 and decreases every year after that. My oldest daughter just turned 10, or will turn 10 actually on Friday. So that statistic gives me goosebumps even now thinking about it. It makes me crazy to think that our little girls and our little boys are up for a lifetime of, unrealistic expectations, photoshops, movie stars, and all of these things that are going to make them question what they look like and how they feel. But I truly believe that it starts with the moms, the sisters, the aunts, society as a whole, to really truly love who you are from the inside, which then will shine beautifully on the outside, which then of course will trickle down into our children. I said I moved quite a few times, and so for me, being able to reach people globally was such a huge part of my passion, which was part of my vision, because I truly believe that the mindset piece, the movement, and the nutrition comes hand in hand into that three-pillar puzzle, as I said at the beginning. And because I'm able to do it online, it means not only can I reach anybody who happens to live in the US, like yourself, or happens to live in Mexico, or, I lived in England, I lived in Australia, so I have a lot of connections all over the world. And now I'm able to reach these people without having to worry about where I am personally in the world. I can go on vacation, they can go on vacation, I can travel, they can travel. You can be working, as a job with your work, traveling that way. You can be going away with your family, but you still have the opportunity to stay connected, one, to a supportive community, and two, to your fitness goals. Because when it comes down to a lifestyle change, which is what I really promote, is that it doesn't just stop when you go on vacation. It doesn't just stop if you travel for business. It doesn't just stop if you're, going home for the holidays for over Christmas. And so I wanted to make sure that I could reach everybody, no matter where they were in the world and no matter what they were doing. And so from a why, I am so passionate. I have two little girls, they're 8 and 10. I want them to grow up to be comfortable and confident, empowered by their own being, never change their clothes because they don't feel comfortable enough in them, and truly look in the mirror and love what they see coming back. And that's a huge part of the mindset, which I know we're going to talk about. But I want everybody to feel that way. And I want everybody to be that comfortable, confident person that when they're talking to their children or their children's children or their, kids in their school's classroom or whatever, they feel that confidence and it's oozing out of them. And people are like, whoa, what's gone on with you? You look like you're glowing. And that's really where that comes out, because it's not just about how you look. It's not just about how you feel, but it's the combination of both, which is truly powerful when it comes to making these lifestyle changes.
Right. No, I totally agree, because I've seen it in the last we've been working out. I've been doing it, 6 months now?
Yeah, just over 6 months now.
6 months. I forget. She's been kicking my butt for three times a week for at least 6 months. Okay, so I know what my number one roadblock always was, but what is the number one roadblock when it comes to fitness and working out for especially women, but for most people?
Yeah, I mean, it varies, of course. Time is a big one that comes up. Convenience is another one that comes up. Confidence is another one that comes up. So those three are probably the biggest that I see. And then, of course, not really knowing what to do. But to be honest, because you're in a situation now where, the world's your oyster with the internet, there are ways of figuring out what to do. But if you think about time, driving to a gym, getting changed, whether you're living or breathing winter like we do here in Canada, there's weather to consider, getting your workout in, driving home and coming back to your life, that could take anywhere from an hour to 2 hours of life. And we all know how busy we are. We know how much is going on in our world. And so when people say, oh, I don't have 2 hours of time, I totally understand. Now let's talk about confidence. You're going into a gym environment, you might be in a situation where you're surrounded by big big men with like necks the size of your thigh, and they're grunting and groaning, and the last thing you really want to be doing as somebody who's brand new is walking into that environment. It's very, very uncomfortable. And then the last one, of course, is just the convenience, and it goes back to that time. And so what I did when I created my platform, which is the online live and interactive group classes and online interactive personal training, is I took all of those, and I'll call them excuses because they are, but they're legitimate, away. Time, we do it for 30 minutes. You walk upstairs, downstairs, into your living room, into your backyard, whether you're on vacation or not. It's 30 minutes and you're done. You might maybe take a few more minutes to stretch afterwards, but otherwly it's done and dusted in 30
If she
minutes.
pushes you to the end, you do. Let me tell you.
Yeah, a few minutes.
That's the last workout.
Exactly. Convenient. Obviously, it's super convenient because you're in your own home, you're on vacation, you're in the hotel at work. You just literally open up your computer and you're ready to start. And then confidence. I mean, I've had people working out in, t-shirts and shorts that are like way too big because it doesn't matter. I roll out of bed some mornings when I teach at 5:30 a.m. and my hair is maybe all over the place. I haven't brushed my teeth, lucky if I pulled some clothes on, but that's the reality of it, is that the beauty of being at home is that you don't have to think about all those things. I used to always laugh at people who'd come to the gym makeup full anyways, but let's be honest, if that's what it took people from a confidence perspective to come in, then they did it. But in our case, because you don't have to worry about any of those three things, we remove that, which makes it, and I say easy because for a fact I'm not talking easy as in that was easy, but it does make us allow to remove a lot of the excuses that we put in place.
It takes that barrier away.
Right, it does. It takes the barrier completely away, and we offer, the schedule, and we offer the classes, and we offer the variety. And to be fair, we offer the commodity. Within the group classes, we have a maximum of 5 people in my group classes, and it feels like we're all doing it together. Now, you personally do the one-on-one, which again gives you just that one-on-one But even in that group environment, the accountability is there, the motivation is there. I'm not sitting there being like, okay, Lisa, just work half butt right now. No, I am saying get your butt
No,
moving.
she pushes you. And if she sees you do like having these habits you don't realize you have to stall, yeah, she calls you out on it. Trust me on that one.
Yeah, and I mean, safety is one of our biggest concerns, right? So I want to make sure that you're doing your moves properly, you're doing them
Mhm.
safely. I'm adjusting your legs, your arms, whatever. And that's the one thing. So the two biggest reasons that I created this was, when I think about YouTube and when I think about, Sweatflix or whatever it's called, the Daily Burn, some of these, membership sites where you just press play, we're human. And sometimes pressing play is the hardest part. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've watched YouTube videos where there's a girl working out like crazy while I sit on the sofa eat potato chips while I'm watching her. Because let's be honest, nobody knows any differently anyways. And then from there as well, if I'm doing the exercise, I have no idea if I'm doing it correctly. I have no idea if my form is on point. And in the end, you could get hurt. And I've heard many people using, membership sites like Daily Burn or whatever, trying something that's a little bit outside of their level of ability and then hurting yourself. And even in our case, we started at one level, and where you currently are, if I had started you there, you would
I
have
would.
hurt yourself. You would
Mhm.
have been you would not be able to do it. And so it's all about making sure you're safe, that you're motivated, and that you're progressing in the way that you need to be progressing through your own journey.
And I think that's also another part of the barrier is a lot of people think when they say personal trainer, oh, they're going to have me, like squats. I'm going to be doing full-fledged squats. Okay, well, I'm here to tell you when I started doing squats, I was fully sitting down in a chair. I would literally stand up. I sat completely down in a chair. Then we progressed to barely touching the chair. Then we progressed to no chair. And this last time we did chair, but my hands were held out with weights the entire time. Let me tell you, that ain't easy either. So the point is, though, is that one of the things I like and what boosted my confidence and my self-esteem was that we started where I was and you encouraged me where I was, which is what you do with your group classes as well. And then wherever they're at in their fitness level is when it's adjusted. I mean, just like the the mountain climbers. Mountain climbers, I remember when I first did it, I was actually sitting in the chair doing it. And then we started standing up, and now we have where I'm using the chair. And now with like the burpees, she has me actually move to the floor, which freaks me out every time, but that's not the point. But we've gradually progressed. So if you were to try and start me out on the burpees on the floor, one, I might have hurt myself, but two, I don't believe I would have stuck with it because it would have been so hard. And the fact that you did it from this level and then gradually we got to one, I'm now sticking with it. I'm now doing 2 days a week where we don't meet. I have to make sure I send myself my cardio. Plus, we have the 3 days of the training. And she's also working on convincing me to do the online interactive. But the point is that confidence has built up. Whereas when you go to a gym, you don't always have, one, you don't know if you're doing it right, but two, you don't have that. You don't have someone there saying, "Hey, wait a minute, why don't you start here?" And then gradually build up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the biggest things when we talk about barriers or stumbling blocks or, reasons why people tell themselves they can't get started is because one, maybe they don't know where they need to start. And
Mm-hmm.
two, like you said, that if you look at some of the videos online or if you're watching some crazy person in the gym doing like burpees where they're, flipping backwards and then jumping back into a burpee, you're already thinking there's no way I can do that.
Like when I saw you do the regular burpees and about freaked out. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Look where you are, right? Versus where
Right.
you were. And that's what I always say to people. Like we modify, in the group classes as well as obviously in the personal training, because that's very personal. We start everybody at their own level. So if I'm doing a burpee set, for example, I'm going to show a wall burpee, then a chair burpee, then a floor burpee, then, an advanced burpee. And you get to decide which one makes the most sense for you. And some days, doing the chair burpee makes sense. And then other days, maybe going back to the wall burpee is the right thing to do. So I'm a huge believer in listening to your body, a huge believer of giving alternate options in terms of where you're going. Any exercise that we can do, you can either progress it up or you can progress it down. You can make it harder or you can make it easier. And when I say easy, of course, it's still challenging yourself as long as you're, working that. And that's where safety and all of that comes into play, because I'm not going to get you to be doing. I mean, I was showing you the lunges where one leg was on the chair and one was on the floor. That's not,
and my expression on my face was a complete horror. I hate lunges, by the way.
Right. But that's not where we're going yet. But eventually, that may be where we go. But if I said that's how we're going to start our lunges today when we first started, there's no way you would have mentally been ready and you would have hurt yourself. And so again, with the lunges, we progressed. And so everything is about that, where you are currently today moving forward. And I do find that that is a barrier that holds people back because they don't know where to start. They don't know how to progress and they don't know what they're doing. And chances are they're going to get hurt. And if they don't get hurt, they're going to not be able to stick to it because it seems too challenging for them. So really finding that fine line is obviously part of what I do. And having that, I mean, I've seen, and I'm going to toot your own horn for you because I know you don't do it very well yourself. I have seen massive confidence boosting, self-esteem boosting as a whole, but even just the changes in strength and the self-doubt that used to be there where you're like, I can never do that. Well, now you just give me a dirty look and you do it, right? So all of those things
I'm getting the dirty looks though.
Right, but all of those things happen and they would never have happened if we didn't progress nice and slow in your case because
it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have. No. It would have seemed way too hard, and it wouldn't. And I don't know if I would have. I mean, because like I tried 9 rounds, and 9 rounds doesn't give you the different levels. They tell you to do this, and you're supposed to, and I didn't. Then they don't have the accountability there, pushing you. So it seemed even more impossible, and that's the reason why I stopped it. And then I kept watching you, and I kept. Seeing you, and we talked because we're both in the academy, and then I don't know what made me. I was just fed up one day. I don't even know what it was, but I reached out and I started messaging, and that's where we started. And we set up the call, and when we set up that call, it fit. It felt right, and because you immediately said, "Hey, wait a minute, no, we start you where you're at, and then we progress." So I mean. To me that makes a big huge difference, and I think it builds everyone's self-confidence or I know it did mine, so I know it builds other people's, because I've also seen in your group, the online interactive, the ladies that do the group classes, I mean, they say the same thing. They know that they have that accountability, but they also know that they can still work out, get results, and have them but have the exercises change to where they're at, so that they don't feel like they're, because I mean, if the only way to do it, say, is advanced, and you're not there yet, and everybody else, you're gonna feel completely alienated, and that's a huge barrier.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I have taught out the classroom as well, within a gym environment, and the group commodity of a class is super powerful, right? I mean, you get to a point where you start knowing people. Like, for example, my 5:30 a.m. class, the same 5 people come every morning, and when one person doesn't show up, they're like, where is so and so? And so you have that fun, and I use fun, even though it's quote unquote, because we do laugh, we do enjoy ourselves, but we're also working really hard. And so you have a little bit of everything. You've got the motivation, you've got the accountability, you've got the modifications if you need them, and then you have the community to really focus on. And so I personally, and I mean, obviously I'm biased, it's my company, but I personally think it's the best of all worlds. And we've had some really great success, included, from the classes to the personal training one-on-one, and a lot of that is because we're able to remove a lot of the barriers that people do have going into how do I make this a lifestyle change. And that's another thing with you and with everybody I work with. It's all about baby steps, right? If I asked you to change everything that you do overnight like that, the chances of you staying and being successful are slim to none. But over the last 6 months, we've progressively changed things in your lifestyle, in your workouts, added more steps, added this cardio, added, and it doesn't seem like a huge undertaking because you're progressing through these baby steps. Right. And now you're like, what else can I do? What can I do next? And that you're proud to get your steps in, and you're proud to, and that's the responsibility that everybody needs to take, because I can't do it all for you, but you do it, you take it, and then you see the results and you see the benefits and you feel how great you are and feel how great you're feeling, and then it's just beyond from there, and it's amazing. Right.
Okay, so how can we create a consistent routine so that we can see benefits? Because one of the things I talk about a lot with my clients, because we know I can talk about business numbers and money management all day, every day. But one of the things I see is like with my clients, okay, they want it fixed now. They want to see the benefits of the money management now. And one of the things I tell them, and we've talked about this, is that you didn't get in this position overnight, so you're not going to see this huge result overnight. Yeah. Well, the same thing is with fitness or nutrition or anything else. You make the baby steps, but you're also not going to see those changes overnight. We didn't get this way overnight. You're not going to see it. So how can we create a consistent routine so that we can see those benefits?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's really challenging. We live in a microwave world, right? We want to press 1 minute and have our, perfect results out as soon as possible. But the reality is that doesn't happen. Now, that's not to say I couldn't make that happen. Could I give you great results really quickly? For sure. Are they sustainable? Absolutely not. And so what happens is I turn around to almost everybody I speak to and I say, okay, talk to me about how we want to make these changes. If you had said to me, I want them overnight and I'm willing to do X, Y, and Z, I could have done stuff with you. But again, I don't recommend it because it's not sustainable. What you're doing currently is your lifestyle now. It's not going to change. It might come up and down a little bit, but it's going to be part of your life forever. And that's the ultimate goal. So taking those baby steps is key. So when you're creating a schedule, first things first, don't be like, I want to lose 3,000 pounds, right? Or I want to, do a fitness competition next month. Like, you have to have realistic goals. So we talk about SMART goals, which are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So if you look at a specific goal that you have, so let's say you want to lose 15 pounds, right? Is it specific? Yes. Is it measurable? Well, yes, because you want to lose a certain amount of pounds. Now, how long do you want to do that in? Is it realistic? Do you want to lose them by tomorrow? Well, that's probably not realistic. Do you want to is it attainable, right? Is 15 pounds attainable? Maybe, maybe not. Is it timely, right? If you have a wedding to go to in November, does that make sense in terms of a time? So when you have these kind of ideas or these goals, right, it's like anything. I mean, you talk about it in numbers all the time. It's not just gonna happen. You have to be realistic and you have to plan it. And the biggest piece of advice I can give you is schedule your workouts just like you would schedule a business meeting, an interview like this, anything that you're doing, because if it's set in your schedule, you're much more likely to have it in that schedule and to complete it. Now, of course, life happens. We've had times where, we've had to reschedule or whatever, but for the most part, we know Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, this is our time together, and now Tuesday, Thursdays is your own time together. But we have that in our schedule. It becomes much more set. So when you're just starting out, take a look at your schedule. And so what I usually do in my goal setting when I'm talking with clients is I say, grab your family schedule, your work schedule, your life schedule. Have that beside you. Because if you have birthday parties and grandma's 90th and, a road trip and a business trip, you need to work your life in and around that, as well as your stuff going on in your schedule. So if you're like, I'm going to go to the gym 6 times this week, well, come on, is that realistic if you just started going to the gym? No. So you want to be in a place where you're creating this schedule, you're focusing on it, and you're being realistic. So when we first started, it was 1 time a week. That was realistic for you and for your schedule. Then it was 2 times a week, and then it was 3 times a week. And now everybody's different. Some people jump right in at 3 times a week. Some people decide they want to do classes every day of the week, right? But I always work with whatever.
We were also realistic about it, because when we started, it was right before Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right.
And we both had family trips, family gatherings. I mean, okay, everybody knows that when Thanksgiving starts, you've got schools thing, and then you've got this family, this family, this family. And so we were smart about it. There was no sense in me doing 3 times a week and then changing my eating habits when I was fixing to go have Thanksgiving with 3 different families. I was able to make small changes, but it was kind of dumb to say, okay, I'm going to make these huge changes and I'm going to be in front of amounts of food. And then Christmas was going to be right after that. So that's the main reason I didn't jump into, because remember, I wanted to. But it was smart not to. It was a lot smarter not to, because I wouldn't have stuck with it.
And that's the key when I say grab your schedule, right? Because you were like, I want to do it. And I said, okay, well, let's look at your schedule. Well, Thanksgiving, 3 different families.
There was no way.
Right, there was no way. So then if I would have turned around and went like, yeah, let's do 3 times a week, that wouldn't have been realistic. And so in the end, you probably would have had to miss some, and then you would have felt like a failure and like
Right.
tumble, right? So I always say to people, find your schedule, fix what you're going to be doing. And if you're doing 0 right now, don't jump to 5. It doesn't make any sense. Chances are you're not going to be able to maintain that. So jump to 2, maybe get 3 in, go for a walk for 15 minutes, right? So I have all these people who have these big, hairy goals, which I love. I love dreaming big. I love vision boards. I love that. But if you haven't walked more than 1 mile, don't turn around and say, I want to run a marathon next month, right? If you haven't done any workouts, you're not going to be able to jump into 5 workouts a week. And so, I mean, if we were talking around New Year's Eve or New Year's resolutions right now, you'd have me on a whole spiel about why I hate them. But that's really the biggest thing, is because people tend to jump in with so much that they fail. And when you fail, of course, I'm a big believer is if you fail and you get back up again, you're still working, but it makes you feel deflated. You feel terrible because you're in a situation where you weren't able to do what you said you were going to do. So I say start small, schedule your sessions in, give yourself small rewards along the way. And I don't mean food rewards, because we all know that's a slippery slope. But, when we were talking about coming twice a week, okay, let's do twice a week. When you do that, you get your new shoes. When you do that, you get your Fitbit. When you do, so you're in a situation where it doesn't have to be financial, but maybe you get to say, I'm going to go on a date night with my husband, or I'm going to do these things. And it's really important to have those baby steps along the way, because then you can see, that's why we do fitness tests, right? And I mean, I know you hate them.
And that's the reason why we started in January. We started 2 times a week. I wanted to go into 3, and you said, no, this is the plan. And I'm glad we actually did it that way, even though it irritated me. I'm glad we did it that way, because again, it was letting me get used to that and then fit it in. And then then in February we started 3 times, and then now it's just, I mean, you're right. I now miss it if I'm not able to, or if the internet plays havoc and we're not able to. So I now miss it. Whereas before, the schedule wasn't all there to make it actually happen the way it should have happened. But the schedule now, it's fit in, and doing it gradually just made it to where I can see the benefits. So I think I see what you're saying. It's basically, when you're ready, sit down with a calendar, and y'all, I'm gonna tell you what, putting it in a calendar is important. One of the reasons why I think it's important is because I run a business from home. So if I don't have it in the calendar, then someone or something could get scheduled at that time, and then all of a sudden I'm now no longer available to work out. So it is literally set in my schedule. It's an endless thing. It reoccurs every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday. And then my cardio, it has cardio, and I have a time set, and I have it in there every Tuesday, every Thursday, never ending. And the reason why I do that is because if it's in there in my calendar, then it blocks it off from my online scheduler. So no one's going to be able to schedule anything. Plus, I'm not going to schedule anything around it, because I make sure that's freed up for that time. And one of the reasons why is because when it's either one-on-one or online interactive, like you're saying, if someone's missing, people are asking, you're being held accountable not only by you but the group, and you're more likely to show up because people are expecting to see you. Someone's on the other end of that computer, and I actually have it hooked up to my TV. So someone's on the other end of the TV on that end, they're waiting on you. And so I don't know, it's like, I mean, at first, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't want to piss her off and let her down by canceling. There were plenty of times I thought about it, but now I don't even think about it. So I mean, I see where you're saying how that can set the benefits having it in the schedule.
Absolutely.
So this is something we talked about earlier, and I think it's really important, because you say that you want to, it's the fitness from the inside out, because that's what Evolve for You really means. And so how does our mindset play a role in all of this?
Yeah, honestly, again, I've been in the industry for 16 years. I only found life coaching, mindset coaching, whatever you want to call it, lifestyle coaching in 2012. And so what I found from when I started to 2012 is that I could help people, I could support people, I could guide them. But let's be honest, I'm not with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so what tends to happen is they would get to a place where they would be doing really, really, really well, and then all of a sudden they'd spiral, or they would sabotage themselves, or something would happen. And so when I found this kind of missing piece to the puzzle, I truly believe it is probably the most important part. And this comes as mindset as a whole, to be perfectly honest, but obviously in a fitness and wellness lifestyle journey. Because again, transform yourself from the inside out, which is where Evolve for You comes from, is the most important part. You have to love in here before you can truly love out there. And that includes your children, that includes your spouse, that includes people around you. And oftentimes I hear, especially in the entrepreneurial world, oh, I need to do my business. I need to do my business. I'll catch up with myself later. But the reality is
I
you
did
are
that
your
the first
business.
year.
You did, right? So you are your business. So if you get sick, or if you get burnt out, or if you get, so tired that you can't get out of bed, your business is going to die. So you need to focus on you. And so one of the things that we do when I first start with everybody is I get them to talk to their future self. And this is a really
Yeah, I
powerful,
hated that
powerful,
exercise.
right? It's hard. And I always say to people, like, eating well and exercise, it's hard. I get it. Like, finding the time and doing all those things. But what's harder is being so honest with yourself that you can actually open up and feel that emotion. And that's why it's hard. So when you're writing a letter to your future self, you're saying to yourself, hey, Lindsay, 5 years from now, I love that you've been so committed to your workout routine and your exercise, your food, and that you're feeling amazing, and that you're giving more love to your children, and you're more present when you're with people, and you smile, and and it's all of these things that we think about on a regular basis, but we're putting it down on paper. And when they say about plan to fail, fail to plan to fail, that kind of thing, it's the same idea with your mindset. And don't get me wrong, it's not easy, and it is not something that happens. It's a practice over and over and over again. I work on it every single day, and there are still days where I find myself being the worst to myself that I've ever been to anyone else. And so what I try to say to people is focus on your mindset. It's a huge part of it. Focus on why you're doing this, which comes back to your why. Focus on how you can get through some of the negative thoughts that we have, because we have a ton of them. How can we rewrite our sentences? So instead of saying you're so stupid, or you're such a loser, or you're such a failure, how can you change that up? But the best one that I find have worked is if you have a daughter, a sister, a mother, a niece that is in your life, ask yourself, would you say what you just said to yourself to that person? So I actually, when I was working really hard on myself, I had a photo of myself as an 8-year-old. So it was on my phone. And when I started being really mean to myself, I'd pick up my phone, I'd look at my photo, and I'd have to talk to myself as an 8-year-old. And how did that make me feel? Really crappy, right? So why would I say it to myself now? Or your daughter, or your sister, or your mother, right? Most of us are extremely loving, caring, motivational, supportive people to everybody else. But then when it comes to ourselves, we are the worst, right? We are the meanest girls known to man. And I talk mostly girls because men can do it too, but women are tend to be really mean.
We're worse with ourselves than men
We're
are.
so worse, right? So we have to be able to be in a situation where we take some of those thoughts, and I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying it's all the time, but as long as you start thinking and being aware of that, and being like, okay, no, wait a second, right? And that's part of what I do, right? When I know when you've had moments where you're like, I can't do that, I'm like, yes, you can. Right? And it's just as simple as that. Yes, you can. Give yourself some credit. Don't think about the negative. Think about what you can do. Say to yourself, I got this. I can do this. Right? And even little things like that, I always say, think about, way back in the day with a little choo-choo train, right? I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Change that to I know I can. Right? I am strong enough. I am strong enough. I can do this. All of those strong I am words and sentences are going to make you feel better. I do a lot of competitive sports, and part of that, the mindset piece, I've got a sports psychology when I worked with coaching clients, and you can make or break a race, make or break a lifestyle change, make or break a journey
By
with
your
the things
mindset.
you say to yourself. So we have to figure out ways to trick it, which kind of sucks, I know, because it's not always about trick it. practice, teach it, change it. And that's kind of how we work. Like, when it comes to mindset, awareness is the first thing, adaptation is the last thing. So you got to be aware of it, you got to make some changes in between, and then you got to make the changes, and that becomes your new normal. And so it works in lots of different ways, and mindset is such a huge part of it that's why one of the 3 pillars of my business is mindset. Because if you don't have that, you may have some success, you absolutely may see some weight loss or muscle gain, or whatever it is you're looking to do. But if you don't change that mindset, you're going to go all the way back one way or another at some point, whether it's beating yourself up, whether it's eating your sorrows away, whether it's self-sabotaging your journey, and you're going to get back to square one. So you got to do all 3. And that's really where my business comes into play when it comes to it, because there's homework you got to do where it's mindset specific.
And it sucks.
Right? And there's cardio homework.
I'm not the only one that thinks that.
I know. A lot of people do, because it's hard, right? I mean, you have to be open, and you have to be aware that
you have to be actually completely honest with yourself, and that's part of the scary part. I mean,
that is it.
I mean, it put me in tears. So I mean, it's a good exercise, but I found it hard just because of the fact that I had to be completely honest with myself. But it was also one of the things that made me even more determined, right? Because of the things that I knew I wanted to be able to do that I could no longer do. And even when I was skinnier, I was never really truly fit or quote unquote healthy. I was just skinny. And I actually want to be fit. I want to be toned, and I want to be healthy. And that's a difference between my younger ages. And I have 2 girls. So I don't want them to ever feel the way we sometimes feel about ourselves. I mean, I've got one who's 15. So she's going through those things. And I don't ever want her to self-doubt herself that way. I can see that. So I'm going to go back, because one, I'm tooting your horn, because I think the online interactive thing, the Evolve for You, is probably the best thing that was ever invented. So how does the online interactive actually help with that mindset part? Because it does. So explain to the audience how it actually helps.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit of everything in that, right? As I said, I'm a big believer of working your mind all the time. So even in our private group, we're talking Hi, we're talking about mindset all the time. But I think the reality is, if you go back to those original barriers we talked about, time, motivation, self-confidence, that kind of thing, when you start feeling that after doing your session, or months after month, and I mean, as I said, I've seen it in Lisa 100-fold, your brain is starting to tell different stories, because now you got pushed to a point where you didn't think you could do it, and you did it. You had that aha moment, like, holy smokes, I cannot believe that just happened. And I've seen that numerous times with Lisa. When it comes to
recently with the burpee,
right? It's that moment when you have that aha moment is honestly, in my opinion, the best part of why I have this business, because people think it can't be done. Then they doubt themselves. Then they try to sabotage themselves. And then they have that moment and they're like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I just did that. And then they have to tell everybody they just did that, and they're proud of themselves. And then, next thing you know, the steps have gone up and they're proud of that. So they tell you that. And so it's kind of like a domino effect. So you are working on your mindset almost every single time you're working on your workouts, because you're having those doubts. You're having that, are you kidding me? Some dirty looks coming my way regularly, right?
But let me tell you what, the way the computer sits, y'all, the computer sits down. So, because she has to be able to see, like, my feet and my legs to make sure I got the form. She knows when I'm giving her a dirty look, even when she can't see my face.
Definitely, most definitely. But that's it.
Like, I can feel that dirty look. Just go ahead and do it anyway.
Yeah, I know it's coming. I can see it, but even though I can't see it, but it is, right? I mean, and the reality is, I always say to people, I mean, you want to be out of your comfort zone to a degree, because that's really where you grow. And I mean, that's for entrepreneurship, that's for learning, that's for anything to do with mindset. Part of it is that if you're out of your comfort zone, you're going to grow the most. And so when I push you, it's to get you to push beyond that boundary of that, I think I can't do it. And what tends to happen is our brain sabotages us well before our body ever does. So for example, if at the the beginning of class or at the beginning of the session with Lisa, I turn around and say, okay, today we're going to be doing burpees on the floor. Boom, her mind.
No, that's not how. But right, that's not how you do it either. You're a lot sneakier than that. But Gina, Gina's making me laugh. Gina says I used to look at my yoga teacher like she was the devil. Gina, I have the tank top that says I've never seen my trainer and the devil in the same room. Just saying. Yep. and because she's notorious for saying, okay, I need you to try something. I need to see your form. The pike walk out. That was mean. And so I did one, and then she goes, okay, do it again, because she wanted to see my form. She made me do that thing like 6 times. She needs to see me do it 6 times to see my form. She just wanted me to do it 6 times.
And that goes back to your mind, right? Because if I turn around and for example, demonstrated it to you and said, okay, now I need you to do it 6 times, automatically your brain's going to tell you can't. And so rather than do that
one more time,
you've got to just work. And so that's really where it comes from, is that your mindset's constantly working because you're challenging it. You're getting outside of your comfort zone. You know, you're being in a situation where you say, I can't do it. You said it out loud to me. I'm sure you said it a million times in your head, and then you do it. And there is no better feeling than doing something you thought you couldn't.
Yeah, because I cuss you a lot, and I also ask if you're insane a lot, or actually I tell you you're insane a lot, because of like the burpees. Of like, do you say, okay, we're gonna change something up, we're adding a little something new, you're not gonna like it, but it's gonna be fun. I was like, what? It wasn't fun, people. It was. Oh, Lindsay, you are tricky. She is tricky. She is very tricky. And she says, and then my life changed forever through my yoga practice with the devil. Yes, I will honestly say that Lindsay, that my life has changed for the better. Yeah, Stephanie, someone knows how to get past that sass. Yes, Lindsay has figured it out. And she doesn't play. She doesn't like playing. It's no fun.
Well, and you still do it, even though
I do. I complain. I say some really bad words,
and that's okay.
Yeah, she says she knows she's doing her job when she's being cussed out. So, and I'm gonna say this, y'all. I think it's really important with the mindset, but this year I made the decision, my word was focus. And so I focused not only on my business, but on me. Because last year when I went full-time with my business, I did what Lindsay said. I would worry about me later. I needed, because it was make or break. If my business didn't make it, then I was going back to corporate, and I refused to go back to corporate. So what I did is I made the decision that I was only going to work on my business. Well, in that process, not only did my health fail, my fitness failed. I was sick a lot last year, and that played a toll, and I felt even worse about myself. And then when I finally reached out to her, I'd made the decision that it was time for a change. And so when we were smart. We didn't start it full off because, again, it was right around Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so when we started in January, that was when I had decided, okay, this year's the year I'm going to focus. I'm focusing not just on my business, because I am focused on my business, but I'm also going to focus on me. And that meant my fitness, my health, how I feel about me, because it's a proven fact. And I know we all say it, but if we're not loving ourselves, if we're not taking care of ourselves, it's really damn hard to take care of our clients and our kids and our spouses and whoever else. And so if I want to be there for my girls, then I need to make sure I'm taking care of me. And the last 6 months have been huge for me. And I'm going to let everybody know I'm just getting started. I mean, I'm nowhere near the huge goals I've set. We made big goals, and then you made me make smaller ones so that we could achieve them. And so I'm not near those huge goals, but I've come leaps and bounds. I know that. Still don't like those damn lunges. We're not even going to go there on those. Now you have me doing arm curls with those stupid things. Stephanie, no, really, you cuss. I don't cuss nearly as bad, except when I'm working out with her. I say some really, really bad words because there's no one around. But that's the thing, is if you're not comfortable going out to a gym, Y'all, here, online interactive, seriously, she has lots of classes, and some of these women are bariatric patients. So some of them have had surgery, and some of them have hurt themselves. They're all different situations, but they're all there together. And honest to goodness, I wouldn't be where I'm at if I wouldn't have reached out to her, because I don't like going to a gym. I'm not as self-conscious as I was when we started working out, because if you remember, I wasn't wearing, like, I didn't wear a tank top and a sports bra. I wore like 2 tank tops, like you talking about how everybody could. Now I'm wearing my sports bra and my leggings, and that's it. That's how come. And I'm now taking my selfies with that, whereas before I wasn't. So it starts to progress, but you can actually have a way to work out and not have to worry about, someone looking at you or how you're being self-conscious, because honest to goodness, Lindsay's watching you, but she's making sure that you're doing your form and that you're doing the whatever level of exercise is the best. If she sees that you shouldn't be doing full-on squats or burpees, she's going to show you a different way. She's going to say, no, you need to stick to this way. And then as you get stronger, she moves you up. A lot of times you don't see that you're stronger, but she says, try it. And then you find out, hey, yeah, I can do it. And, you are stronger. Can you tell people how they can come? I know you have the challenge group, but don't you have another free group too, that they can check you out and get more information?
Yeah, for sure. So, well, I have a free challenge group that I offer lots of different challenges, both mindset and workout.
Yeah, I don't like your challenge this week.
It's hard, right?
I'm not doing that challenge. I'm not doing that, because then I'd have to give up my sweet tea. We've already discussed this. I go back to I have 2 8-ounce cups a day, and that is it.
And that's huge.
That was a huge change, because I could go through a gallon of tea in a day and a half, no joke, by myself. Okay, so going down to 2 8-ounce cups a day, and yes, they are measured. 2 8-ounce cups a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, and that is all I have. I'm not cutting my sugar out.
Well,
I have cut my sugar out.
You've done amazing with that. I mean, that's huge.
So that was one challenge. I was like, nope, I'm not doing. Because you're like, it means no added sugar. I was like, yeah, that means no no.
Yeah, so we do a weekly challenge, and then we usually do a monthly challenge. This month we're doing a gratitude challenge. So every day, you write in the group, or you just say you've done it if you don't want to share what you're grateful for, which I think is huge, obviously from a mindset perspective. We do a recipe group as well that has a recipe a day that comes in there. We offer a free trial to come and try one of the classes, and mostly because I want to make sure it's a good fit for you. I truly believe in my business. I think it's the best thing since sliced bread. Honestly, I love it. But if it's not the right fit for you, right, it's not going to work. So I always say people come in, try a class, see what you think, and then we can go from there. So there's lots of ways. Definitely find me on Facebook. Hit me up with any questions you might have. As I said, my big thing is just making sure from a modification point of view, you're doing what fits best for you, and you're doing it safely. And so that's really where the challenge group is in play, because I do offer different, modifications for the different things that we're doing. I always show videos on how to do proper form. And so I'm a big believer in that. And then of course the mindset piece and the nutrition piece go hand in hand. And so definitely reach out to me. If you're interested in trying a class, I'd love to have you in for a free trial. And kind of check it out from there and see what you think.
It's
and if
awesome.
You have any questions,
it's awesome. And Gina says, thank you, Gina. Your body confidence has skyrocketed. It has, hasn't it? Palm Springs was proof of that, right? all the compliments. Can't wait to Canada. Guess what? It's going to be even better.
Totally.
Right? I think Lindsay has made it her mission, especially since my legs felt like they were on fire after the workout yesterday. And I couldn't cuss yesterday, thank you very much, because I had my Pris Pod sitting right there on the couch because she woke up before the workout was over. So when she threw those new things out at me, Heather was sitting on the couch, and so I couldn't say a cuss word because, again, she's 7, so she repeats things. So I couldn't say any cuss words. My legs were on fire. Bikini, hot tub, and Banff. Oh, hell yeah, Gina. Oh, hell yeah. Guaranteed.
Yeah. And guys, One thing I just want to let you know too, I mean, because Gina's on the call, Gina actually teaches a fabulous power yoga
She
class.
does power yoga. I've thought about trying it.
You should. And that's the nice thing about the online classes, because we offer over 10 classes a week, different times, different types. So we have yoga, we have HIIT, we have Tabata, we have upper body strong, we have weight classes, we have cardio classes. You know, as I said, Gina's class is amazing because it's power yoga. And so we have something for everybody, because it's interesting to see when some people love kickboxing, other people hate it. Some people love weight, some people love yoga, other people hate it. So we try to have something for everybody. We try to have lots of different times for everybody. But the best thing to do is either come into one of our groups or, you know, see what the schedule looks like. And if you want to try out a class, you know, absolutely would love to have you. You can see how you like it.
I actually think I could actually do it now. I know in the beginning I don't think I could have done it, but I actually feel like I could probably do it now because you've shown me my strength is a lot more than what it was before. So I'll have to definitely do that. And Stephanie is saying that, yeah, Stephanie, you definitely, I'm telling you, if you want someone to push you, Lindsay is your girl, and she takes no shit.
In the nicest possible way.
But I love her. I need someone not to take my shit and not to take my excuses. And that's what I told her. I told her at the beginning, I need someone to push me, because I mean, my husband works night shift, so he's not up during the day, so it's just me. The girls aren't going to really push me. I mean, come on, they're 7 and 15. So there's really no way. I need someone not to take my excuses and to hold me accountable. And she's done that. I mean, yeah, we have to also decide it's what we want, but having someone understand where you're coming from and understand that life happens and having you do it in baby steps, so there's easy shifts. Like that was for the examples. One of the things you had me do was a diary, and one of the first things we found out is I wasn't eating enough. My problem wasn't that I was eating bad food. I just wasn't eating enough calories. Granted, when I did eat, it wasn't always great, but it still wasn't enough calories. I was not intaking enough calories, so my body was storing it as fat anyway. And I thought I was. But until we started doing the diary and we actually looked at the calories, Lindsay was like, you're not eating enough food. You know, and so then when we went to Palm Springs, you can ask Gina, I was like, y'all people have got me eating 6 meals a day, and I'm like 3 meals behind. I'm hungry. Feed me. Yep, Gina and them were laughing at me because I was like, I'm serious. I was getting I was 3 meals behind. Because you and Patricia, my business, and she's a nutrition coach, y'all drilled it into me because I was not, both of you were like, you're not eating enough. So a lot of times you find out that some of those baby changes help along the way, because we didn't make huge food changes, and like you didn't add the macros and you didn't add MyFitnessPal until after we started doing the workouts and the workouts progressed. And so I like that, because if you would have added it all at once, it would have seemed, even though I wanted you to, it would have seemed overwhelming. And again, it would have been less likely to keep up with. Whereas now it's, you know, my Fitbit and my MyFitnessPal, and I still forget sometimes to go and immediately log it. I try to, but like last night, I was in there last night finishing it because I was like, oh crap, I didn't finish it. So I went and finished it, and I, you know, and then I sent you the Fitbit thing. So I think it's important to realize that you can make those changes, and they can be baby steps, and there's different levels of classes, and there's modifications that can be made. Lindsay always says, and she trips me out, she says it all the time, because I go business traveling. I went to Palm Springs, I went to Texas, and the week I was in Texas, I worked out. And her thing is there's no excuses with online, because you can work out literally from wherever you're at, because Wi-Fi, internet's everywhere, and you can take your laptop. So it makes it so much easier, and you don't have to worry about being in front of a buttload of people, you know, who are, you know, lifting weights or doing whatever. So I want you to do me a favor. I want you to put in the comments, Stephanie, it's waiting on me. Once you get those things, you can also talk to Lindsay about that too, because she has a partner with that does meal planning too, Stephanie. So once you get the testing on your food allergies, definitely talk to her because they have some jammed up recipes. Um, One of my favorite things are protein balls, and I never thought I'd eat them, and Heather loves them. So I mean, there are some things that they can modify that to help as well. And I'm not just saying that. I'm saying it because I mean, honest to God, it's the truth. I've never felt better, and it's because we made those small changes over time, and now we're making more changes because she keeps making my shit intense and keeps throwing crap at me, and then we're still making meal changes. And I tell everybody it's a work in progress. It's a constant work in progress. I still have to work on my mindset. I'm leaps and bounds, I know, from where I was 6 months ago, but it's still a work in progress. And I know that. I mean, there are times where I still cry and tell her I can't do it, or I'm screaming, and I end up doing it. And having someone believe in you and push you, to me, it's huge. It's how I work with my clients, because I show them over time stuff can be done, and that's what I needed with me. And I think that's what a lot of people need, especially if they're a stay-at-home mom or if they're business owners and they're working from home and they have kids. They need to be able to have that flexibility to have that online. And I think because who has time, if you run a business and have children, to run to a gym? And hello, if you live in Canada and y'all have like 10 feet of snow through April, I'm not going outside to go to a gym. Because y'all people are insane as it is for living through all of that.
Very true. Very true.
So I want you to list your business page in the comments, and I want you to put a link for your free group, your challenge group, so that they can go and check it out. And Miss Gina, I am going to have to definitely check out that's Pacific, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's noon my time. Hey, that's right around lunchtime. That's just not good. No, I'll have to do that. I may actually join this Saturday because I don't have anything. So I may actually try and do that. So I'll have Miss Lindsay send me the link, and I'll have to sign up for that. I'll have to see how well I do on that. Never done yoga, so it'll be the first time.
It will be amazing. You'll be fine.
Oh, of course it will.
I've been telling you for months now.
So much for being here and being my guest. I can't say enough about you. I love you. You know that. Even when I cuss you, I love you. And I say that quite often online. And thank you, everybody, for joining. I'm serious, y'all. Check her out. Please put the links in the comments. I cannot say enough good things about her. If you've been following me, you should be seeing the changes. Because, well, they've been posted all over social media. It's either by her or by me. I mean, all you gotta do is go look at pre-workout with her and then working out now, and you'll start seeing the changes as well. But I think most of y'all have been following me the entire time. So definitely check her out. Thank you so much for coming and being part of my live, and thank you so much for being my guest, Lindsay. I totally appreciate it with all of my heart. So we're gonna say bye for now. And till next time, there will be more Sass It Up Lives coming. We're getting those scheduled, probably not as many through the summer because most people are taking summer vacation, but we are going to have a couple more during the summer, and then we'll be picking back up to have 2 a month after the summer holidays. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you're catching it replay, let us know you're catching it replay, and make sure you put any questions in the comments so that me or Lindsay can help you as well. Thanks, y'all. Bye.